Hi, welcome back. This is the How to Life podcast. This is episode 101. My name is Dr. Laura Jagged, and it is great to be here again. Last podcast I published, episode 100, I told you that I would be taking a break. And at the time I said it would be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, that has turned into 3 months. But I needed it. So this episode 101 of the How to Life podcast, is called It is Okay to Take a Break. And it is. Sometimes you need it. What happens if you don't allow yourself that time? Something's going to happen where you will be forced to take the break. So I want to kind of give you some guidance on how to avoid that, how to get out in front of it, and how to recharge so that you can put your best foot forward in the future. So we are going to start off with talking about my last 2 years. It's been 2 years, and I have been pushing through to get How to Life started, to learn how to do all this stuff, playing pickleball, being a chiropractor, dealing with my family's business. There have been a lot of things that have sort of caused this break to happen. So I want to talk about it a little bit. All right, so let's go back to 2018 when I thought of How to Life. I thought it would be a great idea. And I was already doing these little mominars that I call them for my kids anyway. So I thought, how much harder could it be? Instead of teaching my kids and their friends, I'll just be teaching a larger public. Well, what happened was YouTube videos. I'm a chiropractor. I don't know anything about video editing, video recording. I don't know how to speak into a microphone. I don't know how to upload them. I barely used YouTube myself. So there was a huge learning curve, which was super stressful. And I thought about it for a good 9 months before I posted one, and it took me forever. But I started posting, and I got better and better the more I did it. So things are going well with that. I can manage it. I can manage my chiropractic business, and I can manage playing pickleball, which is a sport that I love, and I was actually really enjoying being competitive in it. Then my father asked me if I would take over his business, which is property management. He was getting up in age at the time, and he was tired, so I said that I would. Problem, I don't know anything about property management, or I didn't back then. So again, that was a huge learning curve. I was stressed about it. Also, my father was watching me, so I wanted to make sure that I did everything perfectly. So I spent a lot of energy and nervousness doing that as well. Then COVID happened. The world shut down, and now I was no longer in a job. So I thought, well, I have a little extra time on my hands. What can I do to maybe fill that? It never dawned on me to consider coasting. Somebody had mentioned, why don't you start a podcast? So I thought that sounds like a great idea. So I did it. And I soon learned that even though it sounded like something I wanted to do, I had no idea how to go about this. There's a huge learning curve. So I added some more stress on top of the things that I was stressed about, but which I had managed. While I waited for the world to get back to normal, it was taking longer and longer for it to do that. My office happened to be in a gym, and where I live, the gyms were all closed, so I could not go to work. I had to start seriously thinking as the year was coming to an end, do I renew my active license? What should I do? So I made the decision to retire from chiropractic after 28 years. And that is very stressful. That's like a huge life event, like getting married or starting a new job or starting a new family. It was super stressful. This is something that I had done my whole life. It was kind of my identity also. So making that decision was sort of sad. But I still had the property management, which I had running pretty smoothly. I was pretty comfortable with the YouTube videos. I had gotten more comfortable with the podcast. And pickleball was picking back up again for 2021. I was juggling pro pickleball. That's right. I went pro, and my big goal was to be on a center court on a live stream. That actually happened. It was wonderful, but it was taking time away from How to Life. I wanted to do both with the same passion and equal time spent. So I was really sort of running myself ragged. Oh yes, and I had to do some property management in between. Then I actually got COVID, and it hit me hard. I was extremely ill for 3 weeks, and it took another 6 weeks for me to start feeling almost normal. I had to cancel 5 tournaments, and I had to make a decision about, is this something that I was willing to let go of and just focus all my attention on How to Life? Thought about it for a while, mourned it a little bit, but yes, I gave up pro pickleball. And I was very sad about it. But honestly, I didn't realize how much that I had really spread myself thin. Because even though I had given up chiropractic and even though I had given up pickleball, I was tired, very tired. And there was always something new to learn, and I always felt like I was behind as far as the technology was concerned. So I just found myself dragging my feet with How to Life. It was a chore, and I was concerned about that. But for some reason, I had this goal that I had to make it to 100 podcast episodes before I could take a break. So I continued doing that. Then, in 2022, my father passed away. He was 88 years old. He had lived a long, full life. And although it wasn't unexpected, you're never ready for it. It was sad, and there was mourning. And I had suddenly become the executor of his estate, his trust. And I had to learn how to do that. I had no idea how to do that. So if any of you want to know how to do that, I have some experience. Perhaps I'll do a mominar on that. But I didn't know at the time, and it was super stressful. I felt a responsibility to his beneficiaries to make sure I do a good job for them, to make sure that his properties continue to thrive. That happened in February, and my 100th podcast episode was coming up, and I published it in April, and I made the announcement, that's it. It's time to take a break. I'm at a point in my life where I am pretty in tune with my body. I know what works for me. I know what happens if I don't listen to it. So I want to share with you some signs. The first one is you find yourself procrastinating. I did a podcast episode on how procrastination is actually wisdom. You're not in the mindset to do your task if you find yourself procrastinating. If you're looking for reasons not to do it, you probably shouldn't do it because you're not going to put your best foot forward. You're not going to give your best to that task. You are easily distracted. Somebody asks you a question and you immediately turn your attention to that person, anything other than what the task is at hand. Your quality of work decreases. You find yourself making mistakes, which means you have to do it over and the process is taking longer. You are not focused. You're not doing your best job. This is a sign that it might be time to take a break. And you feel negative emotion like anger or resentment or depression. If you feel like you don't have an out, if you feel like it's never going to end, this is going to be your life forever, those are all negative emotions. And they're a bit irrational, but we sometimes allow ourselves to get into that spiral. That's a sign that it's time to take a break. And you are not having fun. Not having fun means you're not in the zone. You know what being in the zone is. You enjoy being where you are. You enjoy the work. You enjoy the excitement. You enjoy the ideas that are flowing to you. That's called being in the zone. It's fun. And it doesn't even feel like work. When what you're doing is not fun, when you are resentful about it, when you are procrastinating about it, when you're looking for any reason not to do it, it might be time to take a break. Refocus, reshift, and reevaluate at the very least. Now, a lot of people get nervous about taking a break, and there are fears involved. But I would like to alleviate some of those fears and help you notice that they're sort of made up. When you take a break, here is what will not happen. The world is not going to stop spinning. Even if you step out for a while, it keeps going, the job keeps going, the work keeps getting done. It keeps on spinning. Another thing that will not happen is everyone's going to be lost without you. So an example for me with my kids, I was always there with them, always doing everything. I should have allowed other people and trusted other people to do a fine job because they did. If I went away for 3 days, I didn't enjoy myself because I was thinking that I'm somehow letting down my children. And as it turns out, they were just fine. They are fine now. Another thing that people worry about if they are to take a break is that they're going to be seen as weak. I did. I didn't want to be seen as lazy or weak. I wanted to be seen as hardworking and dedicated, but at what price? It's not worth digging yourself a hole, driving yourself into the ground. It's not worth it, and no one will see you as weak. So, what happens when you do take a break? You have the ability, if you do it right, and you do it with intention, to focus on your mental health. When your mental health is intact, you will find that your physical health has a better chance of being intact as well. Things that will help you improve your mental health are resting, little power naps, or just sitting outside and taking in nature, meditating. I can't express enough how valuable meditation is. To tune in with the silence and the stillness is a huge skill. And I would also recommend journaling. It is so important and so valuable when you get what's inside your head and put it down on paper. You're releasing something. It's looking at it and realize, wow, I'm making a much bigger deal than I probably should have. Mental health, people, so huge. Another great thing that happens when you take a break is you are able to focus on your emotional health if you make it a priority. Emotional health is tied to mental health, but there are things you can do to help bolster that. Laughing, watch comedies, hang out with friends, laugh, be lighthearted. It's incredible what laughing and laughter does to your perspective. Also, enjoying who you're with, enjoying what you're seeing, really being grateful for what you're experiencing that gives you a sense of peace and happiness. And being present. When you decide you're going to focus on your children, on your significant other, even on yourself, be present in the moment, and that will just soothe that emotional health. Also, focus on your physical health. Sleeping. Sleeping more than resting. Naps can be for resting too, but quality sleep for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever it is. Your physical health can also be improved by eating better. By the way, what you put in your body has a significant effect on your emotional health and your mental health as well. Eating foods that disagree with you, that you're allergic to, that irritate you, can really start affecting your mental health. So eating well is important, focusing on that physical health. And of course, exercise. And it doesn't have to be all-out exercise. It could just be a walk. It could be anything that gets you out in nature. Maybe take your shoes off and get your feet on the grass, on the sand. Doing all of these things will allow you to do a better job at whatever task you were taking the break from. Benefits of taking a break are recharges you. It refills your tank. We are energy. We only have so much energy to give to people or our family or our jobs. So if we run out of gas, we can't give to ourselves. Taking this break allows you to refuel, give to yourself, fill yourself up so that you can give to others. It also helps you with fresh ideas. When you turn away from something, you start thinking about, oh, maybe I can do that. Oh, that's a good idea. That's what happened with me during my break. I slept a lot, I rested, but after a while, I started feeling motivated. I started coming up with good ideas, like putting the video portion with the podcast. So I will have the audio portion on the typical podcast player. I will have a video clip for YouTube of kind of the best parts of it. I will put the entire video podcast for my Patreon members. So if you'd like to see that, you can join my Patreon. I found some fun apps. Editing is fun again. Recording is fun again. Coming up with ideas is fun again. I'm excited about it again. So what can you do while you're on your break? Well, anything really. Whatever you find relaxing. But I would recommend when you realize it's time to take a break, be deliberate about it. If it's hard for you to just sort of turn it off, then schedule it. 25 minutes and then take 10 minutes. Set an alarm for it. You don't even have to sleep. You can just do something else. Learn how to pace yourself. Again, if you need to set a block of time, do that. Figure out your own pace, figure out your own rhythm. Listen to your body. I don't know how to teach about this because you have to experience it on your own. But your body is always communicating with you. When you're sick, that's your body saying, hey, you need to slow down. When you get an upset stomach or you eat something that doesn't agree with you, your body's telling you, I don't like that. Don't eat that anymore. Listen to your body. Learn how to do that. Here's another thing. It might seem a little esoteric. Ask your body what it needs. And then you stop and listen. Learn how to listen to that intuition, that tiny little voice that says, take a nap, read a book, get outside, go call your mom. Listen to what you need. And give your body that. You deserve it. And I'll say it again. Set a timer and allow yourself that time. If it's too hard to do it for 30 minutes, start with 5 minutes and do what you intend to do within that little break time. It's not a sign of weakness to take a break. It's actually very smart and it takes strength to do it. And once you start doing it and start recognizing the benefits of it, you will never settle for less again. What kind of breaks do you take? Let me know in the comments, or you can send me an email to drlj@howtolife.com. I am going to go forward a little bit slower than I did before. I had this ruthless publishing schedule that I'm not going to do anymore because it doesn't have to be. If I'm a day late or 3 days late, it's okay. But I will be back again next week. I want to keep doing the video portion of this. Let me know if you liked it. And I want to thank you for your patience and for sticking with me. Even while I was on my break, I had people listening to the podcast, new subscribers, people watching my YouTube videos. Thank you guys very, very much for all of that. It gives me great pleasure to help you out and it motivates me to do more. So until next week sometime, have a great day. Thank you so much for your time and attention and your support. I'm very happy to be back here. Thanks for listening to the How to Life podcast. Let me know what adulting skills are tripping you up, what you want to know about, and how I can help you. Have a great day, everyone. You're doing a great job. You got this.